We have learned that the Jets suck. The Jets have acquired, or traded, I should say, not acquired. They acquired a draft pick. They traded quarterback Zach Wilson. They found somebody to take Zach Wilson. And in exchange, the Jets trading Zach Wilson and a 7th-round pick in this year's draft to the Broncos for a 6th-round pick. So they had to throw in a draft pick. They had to eat some money. That's how big a turd burger Zach Wilson is to get the trade done. It was a pick swap. The Jets will be paying about half of Zach Wilson's salary for the upcoming season. So let us discuss the question, why on God's green earth would the Denver Broncos do business with Zach Wilson? Why? So I've got strawberry shortcake, pastry shop, and Dire Straits. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make buttered movie theater popcorn with M&Ms, but not peanut M&Ms, the regular M&Ms. That's what we're going to make. So to lead off here, this is a power move by Sean Payton. Now, I don't say that in a good way, mind you. It's a power move. He is the czar of the Denver football team. This is a total hubris play by Sean Payton. Everyone and their uncle have written the eulogy for Zach Wilson's NFL career. He is a dog covered in fleas. He is a cockroach on its back in the hallway at Fox Sports Radio dying. That is what Zach Wilson is as a football player. But he's not even 25 years old. I think he's 24, which is not 25. So anyway, listen. Sean Payton, the coach there in Denver, is betting a very small amount, very little, thinking he has a little chance of winning a lot. It's the ultimate reclamation project of massive, ginormous proportions. And if Sean Payton, in some other dimension, can unlock the smoldering pile of turds that has been Zach Wilson as an NFL quarterback, then Sean Payton will get to take a victory lap. He will also get from the NFL media, the football establishment media, he'll get one of those strawberry shortcake puffy stickers right near his name there as a way to congratulate him. He'll get a little brag tag and all that. And the Broncos, they're eating the Rocky Mountain oysters on that Russell Wilson contract, and I am a salary cap truther. So you have to play someone who's not making a lot of money. That doesn't mean the player has to suck. You don't have to make a point by going out and getting the worst possible quarterback you can get. And based on some of the stats, Russell Wilson is the worst, or not Russell Wilson, he's bad too, but Zach Wilson is the worst quarterback among a player drafted in that slot. He's in the top 5 all time, how bad he has been in recent years. So the way I look at it, Sean Payton, as we said, he's trying to win the lottery here with Zach Wilson, but also they're going with the old diet plan that I had, the 1990s Mallard diet plan, which is not necessarily quality, it's quantity over quality. You're going for the quantity over the quality. Zach Wilson joins, look at this quarterback room, Jarrett Stidham, Ben DiNucci, and Zach Wilson. That is the quarterback room in the Mile High City. That is akin to gazing at Medusa. If you look into the quarterback room, you will be like Medusa. What happens when you look at Medusa? You'll turn to stone. You'll turn to stone. And so they're painting outside the lines here, trying to find the old lightning in a bottle and all that. But boy, that's not good insurance. And they'll likely draft a quarterback on Thursday, and if not Thursday, they'll draft a quarterback on Friday, and if not Friday, they'll draft one over the weekend. They're going to draft a quarterback. Now, furthermore, why did it stink so bad? Why was it such a debacle for Zach Wilson in Jersey with the Jets? Now, as the number 2 overall pick, he was on a different kind of scale when you rank the badness of quarterbacks. And that's not my opinion, by the way. It's a fact. If you look at the stats and the numbers and just watching him play, how bad he was. Now, I was reading some comments from Zach Wilson's camp, his posse, and the people around Zach Wilson seem to be blaming the Jets for all of his troubles. That it's the Jets that destroyed Zach Wilson's career, and he's just trying to salvage it at this point, but it's all because of the Jets. It's Robert Saleh, the motivational speaker. It's the front office not knowing what they're doing. And while I love to goof on the Jets, it's a fun pastime. There's a lot of Jets fans that work here. I like to goof on them. It's fun. I find it enjoyable. I find zero credibility that Zach Wilson has no accountability in this, right? And I just don't buy it. All right, so it doesn't work for me. I don't agree with that premise. And it's kind of like going into the pastry shop there, and you cut the pie, and it's the pie of blame. And who are you going to give the big piece to? Well, Zach Wilson gets 85% of that pie. He's got 85% of that green, rotting pie. That's on him. And it bothers me when people wallow in victimhood and all that, in anything, in sports. And it's like, could things have been better for Zach Wilson? Sure, could have been better. Did he make things worse? Absolutely. Because he can't play. And I promise you, even I am not fond of Robert Saleh. I don't think Robert Saleh's all that great a coach. But I promise you that everything the Jets were doing were to prop up Zach Wilson, because Zach Wilson being an abject failure is on their resume. It's on the GM. It's on the coach. They carry that stank the rest of their time until they find somebody who's not El Stinko at quarterback. So the idea that everything was against him, there's no accountability for Zach Wilson, I find that offensive. There's also the other problem, the lack of resiliency. We'll use that word. The lack of resiliency for Zach Wilson I find troubling. That he's just not wired to overcome any adversity at all. Like, I'll probably, if the Broncos have a perfect offensive line and none of the receivers drop any passes and they run the ball for 2,000 yards, Zach Wilson, I think he'll be good. But if one of those things doesn't happen, forget about it. Forget about it. All right, last thing here. There's an annual anonymous NBA survey that was released of random players around the NBA. No names. It's done behind a paywall at the old gray lady, which is The Athletic. Now, one player's answer was so over the top and got a lot of attention that we wanted to talk about it. So one of the players named Kirk Cousins as their favorite current athlete outside of basketball. A number of them also named Caitlin Clark, which I think is just because she's been in the news a lot and they wanted to come up with an answer. But I don't know, maybe they just love women's college basketball now. But anyway, as far as Kirk Cousins is concerned, all right, let's get to the point. So when asked to explain why Kirk Cousins was their favorite player, the unnamed NBA player mentioned that Cousins is projected to have a massive amount of money. In fact, the quote was, Kirk Cousins, because he's getting paid and doesn't have to win or doesn't have to do anything. He's made $400 million. By the time he's done, he will have made about $400 million off of one playoff win, he said. Legend. So Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins, called a legend, in air quotes, a legend, for earning, by the time he's done, $400 million for just one playoff win. Your thoughts on that? So people are getting worked up into a tizzy on this one. I don't think it's that deep. Maybe I'm missing something, but it is appropriate. I'll use the word appropriate on this. Normally, you do get paid when you have won or the anticipation that you're about to win. But mostly it's when you win, the riches of Solomon come your way. And Kirk Cousins, and he's a mid-level quarterback. You can get to a Super Bowl with a mid-level quarterback. You can even win a Super Bowl with a mid-level quarterback, but it would take an out-of-body experience. If you want to know more about that, look up the resume of Nick Foles as an example. Right? Look that resume up. And there are others. But Kirk Cousins is the epitome of a stat bandit. Right? Not only stat bandits, his NFL career, if you look at his body of work, his NFL career has been like the Dire Straits tune, Money for Nothing. Cousins has 0 All-Pro appearances. There are no MVPs on the mantle. He's essentially Andy Dalton with better marketing. That's what Kirk Cousins is. He's Andy Dalton, but he's got a little better hype around him.